This reflection is based on a passage in Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 to 36. In this chapter, Matthew is telling a series of stories Jesus is telling a series of stories that have a meaning. And this particular story is that a man went out and he planted his field, with good seed, good wheat. But during the night, when everyone else was asleep, an enemy came along and planted weeds all through the crop, or all through the field. The weeds that are mentioned, they call tares, and another word for them is darnel. The plants grew and they began to mature. And it was when they began to mature that it was obvious that there were weeds all through the crop. Because apparently darnel looks exactly like wheat as it's growing, and it's not until the head matures that you can see the difference. And so in the story, the workers come along and they see the mature plants, and they see that the whole paddock is full of weeds. So they went to the master and said, you planted good seed, didn't you? So where did all these weeds come from? And the master said, an enemy has done this. And so they said to him, well, should we pull them out, all the weeds? And he said, no, don't do that, because you might damage the wheat as you're pulling them up. So he told them to leave them alone, let them grow until the harvest time, and then the harvesters would divide them out and burn the weeds and put the wheat in the barn. When the disciples were alone, they said to Jesus, what does this mean? What's the story about? And Jesus said, well, he was the farmer. God is the farmer. The wheat are his people who believe in him and follow him. They're scattered right throughout the world. The weeds are planted there by the enemy, and the enemy, of course, is the evil one, the devil. The harvest is the end of time, and it's the angels who will do the harvesting. And the weeds will be taken out. The weeds are anything that causes sin or anyone who does evil. They will be sent away from God, where it describes it as weeping and gnashing of teeth. So what does the parable say to us? We live in an age where God's people are scattered all over the world, but then the world is full of people who are not followers of Jesus, and we live together with them. We go to the same social events, we work with them, we enjoy time with them, they're friends, and so on. We rub shoulders with them every day. But followers of Jesus have often been too quick to try and weed out the evil ones, if you like. There's an example when Jesus was walking through Samaria and he sent the disciples ahead of him to prepare a place in a village where he might stay, and the villagers rejected him because he was on his way to Jerusalem. And the reaction of James and John, the disciples, was, shall we call down fire on them and consume them? And Jesus said, no. You have to rebuke James and John. History's had its times when the church has tried to deal with people that they thought were wrong. And perhaps one of the worst examples is the Spanish Inquisition, where I think it was something like 150,000 people were brought before the Inquisition because they were thought to be heretics or doing the wrong thing. Many of them were executed, many of them imprisoned. But in doing so, what they did was they actually killed off many people who were genuine followers of God, genuine Christians. You see, God hasn't called us to bring judgment on others, because really only God can decide who is genuine and who is not. We're living in a time between the coming of God's kingdom on earth, that is when Jesus was raised from the dead and the Holy Spirit was given to all the believers who follow him. That's the beginning of his kingdom, his rule on earth. But it doesn't come to fulfillment until Jesus comes again. And we're living in that in-between time. So what we are doing is we're to live with people, everybody together, because Jesus, when he was on earth, he mixed with the people that the religious leaders thought were sinners and just outside of God's care. They were just too wicked. But what Jesus did, he treated them with love, with patience and respect. And he even said to the Jewish leaders, look, those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick do. I came to call I'll try again. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners. As followers of Jesus, we need to follow Jesus' example. We treat everyone with love, patience, and respect. We're doing so in the hope that we might influence them to come to know Jesus for themselves as their Lord. So the uncomfortable part of the story, I guess, is that there is a judgment at the end. So many like to think that God is a God of love and he would never reject anyone. Well, that's true. God does not reject anyone. But the fact is that many reject God. And by doing so, they're bringing judgment upon themselves because God is a just God. What each of us needs to consider is, are we the wheat or are we the weeds?